Sonam Kapoor and Deepika Padukone.
Yeah.
Just because you're wearing Gucci doesn't mean that, hey, you're the most powerful person in the room. Now, Mark Zuckerberg, the opinion of his company doesn't matter to his success. And he met our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. He didn't wear a t-shirt.
But you also feel that, okay, now we are living in an imperfect world. Women, of course, get targeted more because
Biggest difference that I still see between women clients and male clients.
stigmas play a role in image consistency.
Look in the center triangle of your temple and your two eyes.
Yeah.
How do you feel right now? If I
I'm
speak to you
feeling
like
nervous.
I always believe that the industry has seen things this way. Priyanka Chopra. Come on, Karan. It's a more heavy, husky voice and you love hearing her. Voice definitely makes a difference.
Dog tags these days with Air Force AJ1s. So he's very approachable, he's very funky, he's like this.
Way that Arjun Kapoor and Ranveer Singh look at each other, they're giving each other a power gaze.
That gaze, yeah. You actually focus a lot on this while shaping a person.
Art is a creative field. Want to see you as a person, part of your curriculum. There should be a subject on image management or personal branding that should teach you all of this. I was wearing my bathroom slippers and I had gone for a training. I am strong, I am resilient, I am a powerful woman.
Welcome yet to another episode of the Hartful show. I'm your host Argaman Sethi, and today we have a really warm guest, someone who's shaping the way people see themselves. She's truly an inspiration to a lot of youngsters out there, a lot of business professionals, and people who don't have the confidence to go out there and speak for themselves. She's an image consultant. She's worked with people all the way from Nestle, SBI Fund and Flipkart to young professionals and even pageant consultants. So today we're going to be welcoming Meenal Narula. So welcome her, guys. So Meenal, I mean, thanks for being so kind and coming on to our podcast. I think it's truly a pleasure to have an image consultant like yourself at the podcast. How are you, Meenal?
I'm very well and it's a pleasure for me to be at your podcast, Ariman. I'm more than happy to be here.
I'm so glad that you're here. So, first, let's start with the basics. Yeah. What is image consultancy? Like, a lot of people want to know. And people would also want to know why is it and how is it related to art. So, we want to hear it from the horse's mouth itself. So, what is image consultancy?
Image consultancy is essentially elevating someone's appearance, their body language, their communication in a way that presents their most powerful and authentic self in front of people.
Fair enough. So, so do you think that this is it's a need of the hour? And why do you think that people actually offer the service? Like, people are not being themselves. And what do you think is missing when we talk about image consultancy in the society? Like, why do people opt for image consultancy?
So essentially, Ariman, image consultancy is important for anyone and everyone for whom the opinion of others matters to their success.
Okay.
Let me explain this. So for instance, a lot of people say that, oh, celebrities are the only ones who need image consulting, right?
Yeah, true.
Now for them, there are millions of people who are judging their success. So if their movie does well or not is decided by us.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you look around, you see people like us. We are working professionals, we are business owners, be it students, be it people who are entering pageants. Don't we have people around us whose opinion decides our success? For instance,
yeah, please.
For an entrepreneur, if they're going to pitch for their startup to secure funding, the panel's opinion matters for their success.
True.
For a student, it might be a recruiter. For a job professional, it might be their boss, right? Now, when someone's opinion matters to your success, that means you need to show up as your best self. You need to put your best foot forward.
Agreed.
I'm not saying you need to put your fake foot forward, but your best foot forward.
Of course.
For instance, now Mark Zuckerberg, for him, the opinion of his company doesn't matter to his success, right? The people who work in the company. He might as well wear a t-shirt and show up every day.
Yeah.
Right? But now when he came to India and he met our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, he didn't wear a t-shirt. He wore a business suit. When he went to the US Court of Justice, when Facebook was being sued, he didn't wear a t-shirt. He wore a suit. Because at that point, someone was deciding the fate of his company.
Fair enough. But I also feel that someone, for example, because see, we humans are not perfect.
Yeah.
Of course, we and especially living in a country like India where there's so many cultural stigmas and stuff like that. We've been told, our upbringing has been completely different from the
Yeah.
Western world. So we've been taught certain things which we are not supposed to say or supposed to say out there.
Okay.
So how do these cultural stigmas play a role in image consultancy? Like, don't you think it's actually it's a bane when it comes to image consulting?
So image consulting is about helping you present your most confident and authentic self, right?
Fair enough.
Now, a lot of things I've realized that when I'm dealing with clients, in our Indian family system, there are a few things that are taught to us, like always be polite,
Yeah.
always be gracious, always be very kind. Now, when a working professional has learnt this, be it anyone who's learnt this in their growing up years, sometimes this gets misinterpreted as not putting your own needs forward in conversations. So a lot of times I see that professionals are not able to be assertive when it's required because they think, will I look rude? Will I look too authoritative? No, not. You are just putting your own needs forward.
Agreed. But in a conversation, like for example, you're right. Like for example, if I'm having a conversation with the top professionals of the business world, so don't you think that, see, because image consultancy shows how you need to be poised, you need to be pitch perfect, and art is the opposite of that, but we'll get to that as well. So how does one not be authentic at that point of time? For example, if I'm having a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg for that matter, and I have certain things which you've also taught me, my wardrobe's on point, everything is on point, but my communication, that has to be impromptu, no? That is something which I can't so-called learn from a person like yourself. So how do you think that comes into the picture? Because see, communication has to be very impromptu and spontaneous at that point of time.
Why not? So, okay, learning how to handle yourself
Yeah.
under an intense situation is also something that can
It's
be
part of-
practiced and learned. Yes, you can build it like a muscle.
Okay.
Also, any client who comes to me, of course, these are people who are going to be in the eyes of the media all the time. They're going to be doing impromptu speeches. They're going to be doing speeches in front of the boardrooms.
Word, yeah.
We literally, like, we go through tools and methods that we teach them wherein they learn to organize their thoughts in impromptu conversations well. There is
Fair
this
enough.
framework I'll tell you about.
Yeah.
There's a framework, it's called the PREP framework. Point, reason, example, point.
Okay.
Right? So for instance, if you've asked me this question, my point would be that no, Aryaman, of course you can learn it. Reason being, it's a muscle. When you practice it over time, you can learn to flex it. For instance, there was a client of mine who had to present it in the boardroom meeting. This is how I taught him, and he did well. So to reiterate, I believe it's a muscle that can be built over
Built
time.
on.
That's one framework.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. This is very interesting, guys. I've never come across an image consultant, by the way. But you know, when I was actually researching and I was actually giving this a thought, don't you think that women specifically are targeted in India because you know my upbringing will be totally different.
Yeah.
People, I am very indifferent towards fashion. Of course, my mannerisms are something which I've learned over the years.
Yeah.
But my fashion style, my dress sense, the way I carry myself, that has been totally up to me. But I have women in the house. I have a sister. Everyone, they are targeted more. Don't you think that happens in India itself? And how do you deal with that?
I think it happens all across the world. Women have, from the earliest times,
Yeah.
women have been corrected and criticized way more than men, right? Like
Agreed. Yeah, I'm not even going to debate that. yeah.
right now, if you see the retail industry also, we talk about so many FMCG products that are, there's a pink tax,
Focusing, yeah.
that's levied from women. And there are so many products that are sometimes not even needed, but are created, and the need is also created for women, right? So I do believe women are definitely under that critical lens a lot. But in today's world, I love the fact that today's modern independent woman has taken a lot of her decisions and owned what her decisions, her opinions in a way that she'll be however she wants to be. A lot of them at least are moving that way.
Yeah.
So if I talk from an image consulting
Point
lens,
of view. Yeah.
the way that women clients come to me, one of the biggest difference that I still see between women clients and male clients that come to me is women, when they enter a room, they still feel the need to justify that they deserve to be in that room. Vis-a-vis when men enter rooms, they feel that they own the room already. They just need to fix themselves on how to look great in that room.
Fair enough.
So,
No, this is actually true. I mean, I think this has been. It is a patriarchal society. I'm not even going to discount that. And women definitely need to work way harder on their own selves. But what are the key differences between consulting a man versus a woman? Like because women also have this thing when it comes to image consultancy, that we know it all. We were just talking about it, that people specifically in India as well, and North India to be specific, people have this attitude that I don't need a Meenal, yeah. I mean, I know it all. I know how to style myself. I know how to wear makeup. I know how, if I'm going into a boardroom, I know I'm not supposed to tie my hair. I'm supposed to keep my hair open, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So how do you actually target and consult those people? Like, what is it that you say?
okay, so here I'll tell you, Ariman, I'm very clear on the kind of clients that I want. Image consulting, much like a lot of self-improvement services like therapy, nutrition, diet, if the need comes from within, if you are convinced that this is something that will help me, improve me, only then are you an ideal client for me. Otherwise, you're not. Because if there is not enough self-motivation for you to undergo this transformation, and it's a rigorous transformation, wherein you have to do more work than I'm going to do in this process.
Fair enough.
Right?
But when does one feel the need is what I want to know. Like, when do I say that, oh, Meenal, please help me out? Like, when does that point come?
Usually, I've seen that at the turning points of your life, any place, so for instance, when you're moving from school to college, college to job to maybe you're getting promoted, maybe then you become a CXO, or you're starting your own business, you're going to get funding for the same, now you're presenting it to the world in the media, an IPO is coming out. Any important junction of your life, you'll need an image consultant, because now the way that you're seeing yourself and people are going to be seeing you is changing.
Okay, fair enough. And how does it benefit me at the end of the day if I actually consult you for myself? I mean, because you've handled so many clients. So how do you think that that's benefit? Of course, it gets them more business, but personality developments have also happened. So what is like the best testimonial you've ever gotten?
The best testimonial, there are many, but which one do you want me to tell you about? The most emotional one or the best in terms of transformation?
The best in terms of, I think, tell me both. Why not?
Okay, so the most emotionally, the testimonial that is really close to me is when I really started off about 8 years back. And I remember there was this mother who came to me and she said that I have a son and he's visually impaired.
Oh, wow.
So, and he's applying for CAT exam. I want you to train him on interview and group discussion skills. However, everything will happen on call.
Okay.
So, your work is going to be twice or thrice the amount that you were thinking. Can you please do this? I know it's a big task. My heart, of course, couldn't say no. And I went ahead and we started it. Every night, Ariman, for 3 hours, every night we used to sit and we used to rehearse his answers on call. And so he gave the interview, group discussion happened. I remember 1 month later, and I always tear up when I'm telling this to anyone, but 1 month later, I get a call from his mom saying that, Meenal, can you please come to the door? I'm at your house. And I went there a little jittery that what is going to happen. And when I open the door, I see her and she has this stack of motichur laddus because once in a conversation I told her that they were my favorite sweet. And she said that my son got through his dream college and I am so happy. So for me, that result was one of the biggest propelling factors that made me go through with this profession, that I am making real difference in people's lives. If you talk about other transformations that have happened, there are directors of listed companies wherein I've trained them. Before the training, there was a next gen director, and I'll tell you his example. So, next generation director, he came to me and he said that, Meenal, I feel that people see a lot of entitlement in me, in the way that they deal with me, because these are twice my age and now they're working for me and they know that I've gotten this position because my father's the chairman. When I present to the board also, they don't see me as very credible. We discussed this through. We worked a lot on his storytelling. So we created authentic personal narratives out of his life, wherein we identified what were his strengths, where would he bring value the most to the company. We already mapped the objections that they had in mind, and we knitted personal stories. Those were real stories. We
Of course.
extracted them from his life to already take care of his objections. We practiced them, and I remember that when he came out of that board meeting, he done so well. He done so well that out of all the directors right now,
Yeah.
I know that the next face of the company is going to be him, because he comes across as the most bankable and dependable person.
Fantastic. But yeah, I mean, these are amazing stories. But then, to which I'm thinking that, you know, I think the result is so intangible that how do you end up measuring it? So I mean, have there also been times that you've actually I mean, there's been a backlash when it comes to the results, and people have said that no, this is not my cup of tea, or this is something which I'm not being able to do, Meenal. So what do I do?
So
Because
there are a
it's a-
few clients who came to me because they saw that other people were taking it, and they saw it
Yeah.
as a good to have service, like
Herd mentality.
herd mentality. Yeah. So if you've taken it, I don't know why I need it, but let's try it. Right? They've taken the service like that, where there was no real intention to actually change.
Hmm.
And at that point, after 8 sessions, they would come back to me and say, but I don't see a change. And I say that, okay, my session was happening once a week, 60 to 90 minute session. What was happening behind the scenes for the rest of the 6.5 days of the week? Nothing. So if you don't have the intention to put your work in, you're not practicing what I'm telling you. And these are big concepts. If today I'm telling you that, Ariman, you really need to, this is how your
Yeah,
body...
please tell me.
This is, no. I am not going to pull you up on that.
just-
But for
No,
instance,
I need this.
if this is how your body language can be improved, but during the 90 minutes you've heard it, and the remaining 6.5 days it's not even in your mind, how are you going to change? Right?
Yeah, fair enough. I think money goes down the drain.
Down the drain.
Yeah.
So that's happened. There are other times also where I'm being very honest, there are other times when they came to me thinking that this service was also going to do the job of a therapist.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I am very honest when such a need arises. In fact, there have been times where I've impaneled therapists along my service, and I've said that you please work on some serious childhood self-esteem issues with them,
Okay. Wow.
right? Alongside, we will also keep working.
So yeah, I'm just wondering, what is the entire process from day 1 to day 64? So you were telling me.
Oh yes. So for instance, Ariman, if you are a client, you come to me and you tell me,
Sure.
Meenal, I want to avail this service. This is why I feel that I need this service. After you tell me that, I give you a set of forms.
Okay.
Those set of forms include, so there's one form that's filled by you, which in detail maps your self-image, where do you currently stand, where do you want to go. I will identify the gap from the
Okay.
form. Second, there is a set of forms that's filled by your loved ones, because I want to capture how are you perceived by people around you, even if it's in your personal space.
But they're never going to say anything nice about me.
That's what I want to hear maybe. But the third set of forms is filled by people who are in your professional space. So that
Wow,
I'm able to
okay.
map
What they perceive.
yes, how are you perceived at your workplace? That helps me in a very wholesome way analyze what you're great at, what is your image in the eyes of others, and where are you lagging, right?
Fair enough.
Also, it helps me see the gap between how you see Ariman and how they
How
see
pe-
you,
yeah, okay.
right? That also helps me map the gap. Once I know this, I will help you using these 3 tools: appearance, body language, and communication. Number 1, to close this gap. That if Ariman sees that these are his top 5 strengths, why aren't people seeing them this way? Why are they being misinterpreted?
Fair enough.
Right? So I'll give you an example.
Yeah,
There's
give me
this
an
client
example.
of mine. He is a fund head
Okay.
with a leading firm, and he always tells me that, Meenal, I am not able to get along with, like, I'm not able to build a perfect rapport with people around me. I'm great at what I do. Technically, I am applauded so much in the company. My clients are very happy with me. But even the clients, they're not like buddies with me, like they are with some other partners of the firm. So when we filled these forms, I saw that in his form, he sees himself as a very approachable person.
Okay.
He sees himself as a very warm person.
Wow.
He sees himself as a strategic thinker. When the form that was filled by his co-workers came out, they said that he is a great executioner. He is a person who does well in stressful situations. But when there were questions about, is he a go-to person? Can you reach out to him if there's any personal issue or if you have an issue? All of them said no.
Yeah.
They said he's guarded. So when I studied him and we discussed this further, I told him about this insight. I also observed it was not much in the words that he spoke. It was in his body language. When he speaks to you, he rarely smiles.
Yeah, okay.
Right? When he makes eye contact with you, so there are different kinds of gazes that speak different things.
Okay.
For instance, if I look at you and right now I look in the center triangle of your temple and your two eyes,
Yeah.
how do you feel right now? If I
I'm
speak to you
feeling
like
nervous.
you're feeling nervous because I'm giving you a power gaze, right?
Fantastic.
It is that gaze
Yeah.
that those heroes and villains give each other in those posters.
Yeah.
If you've seen Gunde, the way that Arjun Kapoor and Ranveer Singh look at each other, they're giving each other a power gaze.
That gaze, yeah.
Right? That client used to give most
Wow.
people a power gaze.
Okay.
Whereas the other type of gaze, which is also called the social or the friendly gaze, is when I look into the triangle which is between your eyes and your mouth. And when I look
Wow.
here, see, it's comfortable,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes. Wow. Okay. This is something which I've learned. Yeah.
Now the problem with that client was he thought he was being extremely sincere. That I'm here to talk business. Let me showcase my most sincere or my most powerful self. It was going against him. Second, the way that he sat. A lot of times when he sat in front of people, he would always sit like this.
So that would come off as, pretty arrogant or something of that
More
sort.
than arrogant, that this person is always evaluating me. This person is always evaluating while listening. However, that's not true. He was a fast thinker. So he did that because, and he's also a very detail-oriented person. He would really listen. So what was his strength was not being portrayed the right way and it was going against him.
But do you also think that, don't you think that this is also a two-way street? Because 90% of the time what we're trying to throw out there is, of course, people don't perceive it. But don't you think there's some problem from the receiving end also at a lot of times? So do you tackle that situation as well? For example, I might be doing the best that I can from my end, okay, that boss of yours. But the receiving end also maybe is not taking my actions or taking my communication in a certain manner. So they don't end up reading me well as well. So don't you, because this is, at the end of the day, it is a form of communication, no?
Yeah.
So if the receiving end is also not taking it well, then how can I even work on myself without working on the other person as well?
So of course, there are all kinds of people.
Yeah.
There are people who are great listeners and they are great conversationalists. If you're a
Of
great
course.
listener, you're a great conversationalist.
Yeah.
There are some people who aren't. But if there is a unanimous feedback in all your co-workers that
Of
you're
course.
being this way,
Of course, then
that's
there's
true
definitely
about
a
you,
problem. Yeah, of course.
right? And that is a blind spot that now you're aware of. So let's work on it,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
right? Another example I'll give you, there's this person who used to always think I'm great at what I do. Why am I not taken seriously? Now here's the flip side. This person was not being taken seriously. This was a woman leader. And when I spoke with her, so this is the way that she used to talk. Meenal, this is what I thought of doing, right? So we will do it this way.
The tonality.
Her sentences. So I suggest we do this.
Okay.
Rather than I suggest we do this. Her sentences would always end on a higher note. Now what sentences end on a high note? Sentences that are questions, right? So are you really suggesting that we should do
It's
this?
not a statement, it's
not
a question.
Yes. It doesn't come across as a statement. That takes away from your credibility, that takes away from your presence.
Wow, fair enough. But yeah, do you think tonality also matters a lot when having a conversation? Because I mean, some people just, I've come across people who have a really husky voice and they're taken very seriously. People, of course, I mean, you must be knowing this. People who have a hoarse voice, have a husky voice, have a different personality and aura together, even though they might be dumb to another level. Versus people who have a squeaky voice, they're not taken that seriously. How do you tackle that?
110% this is true.
But then how do you tackle that? Because that is something which is there ever since birth.
So, your timbre, which is your
Okay.
voice quality,
Okay.
your natural voice quality, is something. So, your voice can come either, deep voices is when you're speaking from the diaphragm, right? The place between your lungs and
Yeah.
your stomach.
Yeah.
Second voice can be coming from your chest voice, somewhere around here. Third can be a very high-pitched, squeaky voice, which is a nasal voice,
Yeah.
a very high-pitched voice. The deeper your voice, the more seriously you're taken, right? Now, the point where can we change our voice? Yes, we can change it to an extent.
Okay. Wow.
If
okay.
right now I speak in my natural voice, which I from my birth had, you will not believe it. This is how I naturally spoke. Ariman, this is my normal voice. It was a very, very high-pitched voice. It was a very light voice. And I noticed that when I started out, people weren't taking me seriously.
Seriously.
Then there are activities and exercises that you can do. You can practice diaphragm breathing, which is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I know. Deep
So,
breathing and
deep
which
breathing.
goes.
You can do laughter yoga, which is ho, ho, ha, ha, he, so that you're opening the airways up till your diaphragm. You can do these exercises to build more vocal, you can,
Depth.
depth, yes.
Yeah, depth is the word I would use. But the tonality still doesn't change, no? Like, if I still end up meeting, I can't even put a picture to the face. But I know people in the industry who are at a level and they have a really squeaky voice and people still don't take them seriously.
I'll
as
give
well.
you one example.
Yeah,
You can compare Sonam Kapoor and Deepika Padukone.
yeah,
When Sonam Kapoor speaks, she has a very high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
Sentences end on a higher note.
yeah.
Come on, yeah. That's
Yeah.
not it. This Malibu accent that this new generation has adopted, it robs you of your credibility.
It's called something, I forgot. Anyway, yeah.
And the second, when Deepika Padukone speaks, it's always at a lower pitch. Karan, what I think is that I always believe that the industry has seen things this way. Priyanka Chopra, come on, Karan, it's a more heavy, husky voice and you love hearing her, right? Voice definitely makes a difference. Even if tomorrow Sonam Kapoor says something that is a very, very deep thing, the way that it's being said,
Yeah.
hard work always pays off.
Yeah.
Hard work always pays off.
So there are a
impact.
lot of things. The impact, the tonality, the volume, the pauses that you take between the sentences. So I mean, wow. Okay,
Yes.
I've never thought about this, guys. But this is, how did you, talking about you now, I want to go back to your childhood. You were of course targeted being a woman that ये ऐसा नहीं करती, ये वैसा नहीं करती, कपड़े ठीक नहीं पहनती, कपड़े वो नहीं पहनती, हमेशा हर घर की कहानी है, हर पंजाबी घर की तो कहानी है. So how did image consulting come into the picture? Like, when did you just decide one day that shit, man, I am going to shape or reshape the lives of people?
I'll tell you honestly,
Yeah.
I have never been criticized by my parents.
Are you serious?
Yes. Growing up, I was the biggest tomboy. Like,
Wow.
I don't remember if my father or mother would have told me that, hey, don't laugh so loudly. When I used to laugh, the entire room used to know that Meenal is laughing. They never told me sit a certain way, sit in a ladylike way, or don't wear these boyish clothes.
Yeah.
Never. I was unafraid, outspoken, out there all the time. And to be honest, when I grew up, I was always, so since childhood, I was always a performer. I loved this stage. I was a part of debating teams, poetry competitions, drama, you name it, I was there. It was in college that I also realized that apart from just performing, I also loved helping people do the same. So I remember this one incident wherein, so the first year it was a debate competition. I'd gone and I'd won in an inter-college debate competition. The next year, someone else had to take part in that same competition and I was training her to go there. 2 days before the competition, nerves got the better of her and she came to me and she's like, I won't do this. Can you please go in my stead? You know my speech already very well. Why don't you go and you take part in it?
Yeah.
Now the hero in me would have loved to say yes, right? And I knew till a certain level, I know the competition that I would do well in it. I don't know what inside me said no. I said no, it's you who's going to go there. I'm going to help you and we're going to rehearse to the T. But you are the person who will stand on the stage who's going to take part in
Fair
this
enough.
debate. I remember her on the stage, me in the audience. Whenever she was even getting stuck, I was signaling her about the next point, but that I am here, you don't worry. Ariman, that day a very important realization happened in my life, and that was that so there's this thing called king or kingmaker. Do you want to be the king or do you want to be the kingmaker? That day I realized that I think I want to be a kingmaker. You won't believe that. So I've helped a friend who was taking part in a Miss India contest while writing her answers. She won. And when she won, I realized I love doing this. That passion grew further.
No, of course.
After that, I remember being at her success party, and there were people from Delhi Times, and I went and I had casual conversations with them, exploring that, oh, what is it that you guys help her with, and how do you work around this? And they said, oh, you know so much about this. Are you her image consultant? And I looked at them with a blank stare. What does this word even mean? That's when I decided to do a 1-year-long course in image consulting. I was done with my MBA. I took the traditional route. I did BBS, I did MBA, I worked in the corporate for 1 year, and then I enrolled for an image consulting course on the side.
Fantastic.
And the story doesn't stop here. I'll tell you the most interesting part. The hero in me sometimes still wanted to give it a shot. I traveled to Bombay and I went there.
You wanted to pursue, yeah.
I went there, I interviewed with Dharma and T-Series for internships, got accepted for those internships, but the marketing head of Dharma sat across me and he looked at me and he pulled out my, that remuneration,
portfolio,
the package. No, the package that I was getting, salary slip.
Okay.
And he put it over there that this is what you're earning right now. He said, 6 months you'll intern with Dharma without any pay. He said, you'll be living in Bombay. He said, I am in the industry. I've seen your caliber. I see your pedigree. Trust me, you'll waste your talent here. Go back to Delhi. Your family is there. There's a great future and pursue image consulting over there.
Fantastic.
I still thank that person. His name was Siddharth. I still thank him because when he told me that, I said no to T-Series. I said no to Dharma. I said, I'll be the kingmaker. Let me go back.
Fantastic. And how, so, I mean, we are talking about a transition from your early days to your kindergarten, to your adolescence, to your teens, to your, now you're a mother.
Yes.
So do you think motherhood also changes the way you look at people? Because earlier you were on the other side of the coin. You were on the receiving end.
Yeah.
But now you being a mother, so do you also, point out stuff and say, nahi, ye nahi theek, ye wo nahi theek. So, I mean, does that also happen?
I don't think I point out things as in ye theek nahi hai, ye theek nahi hai, but I think I've learned to let go more things. In fact, I've stopped being perfect.
Yeah.
After becoming a mother, I realized there's no word as perfect. You know this term also, work-life balance.
Yeah.
I think it's the most
abused,
messed up definition. 8 hours of work, 8 hours of fun, or
6 hours of sleep, yeah.
Or 8 hours of sleep. When you become a mother, there's this variable that gets added, which is work plus life plus lots and lots of guilt will get you the closest to balance as much as you can dream of, right?
Yeah.
Once you accept this definition is only when you can find some peace in life. And that's what's happened with me. In fact, more than being a perfectionist, this woman who could work for 12 hours straight without breaking a sweat, I was that ambitious. I think I changed because after I became a mother and when I used to take sessions, and whenever there was a knock on the door and there was this faint voice, Mama, 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 all my heart wanted to do was abandon everything,
and go back
rush out, embrace my child and be like, this is what I want to do. But in that moment, I started becoming, that's when I realized that I need to become more intentional with the work that I want to take in.
Fair.
Right? Otherwise, I would have just been dealing with that extra variable guilt.
Guilt, yeah, I mean,
right?
at the end
When
of
I'm
the
with
day,
my
that hits
child,
you.
I'm missing work because here I am playing with glue and realizing, oh, I've done so much. I've gotten such good work. How can I just be playing with glue? And when I'm at work, I'm missing that mama voice. I want to go back. But then I read something also on LinkedIn. It said that motherhood is not about balance, it's about trade-offs.
Wow.
You're either trading your time with the child for work or
vice versa.
Once I accepted that, life became
Easier.
better, easier, peaceful, and I changed as a person because I became way more intentional and forgiving with clients. I only took clients that aligned with my vision for the kind of work I wanted to do, and I also became a lot more forgiving
Yeah.
with their imperfections.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's wonderful, and I think the entire process it sounds tiresome as well. Like I've never thought about this, and there's a lot of hard work which goes into this. But tell me something as well. Like you were talking about, you also get gather information from the family as well. So I mean, do they also get involved in the process of this consultation or your sessions? Do they have a say in this or no?
No, 100% no. After you've given your input, now the journey is between me and the client.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because if I get them involved, it doesn't make sense only. However, a lot of times the client gets certain members involved as accountability partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
I see a lot of husbands who've taken role play situations from me to practice assertive communication, to practice saying no, setting boundaries, and they do that with their life partner.
Life partners.
Yeah.
But that's nice. I mean, it's something different at the end of the day.
Yes.
And if someone's life gets better, why not?
100%.
So I'm going to be asking you certain, questions now, which is related to these are. I wanted to know because this, at the end of the day, is an art form.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we are on the Hartful show, guys. Endorsement. So, I mean, do you see personal image as an art form or just a social mask that we are forced to wear?
I personally take an issue with the word mask because so many people associate image consultants with creating this fake persona as if I've created a perfect robot out of you, which doesn't truly feel like you. But that's not true at all.
But that is exactly what people want to know because the first time someone hears the terminology image consultants or image consultancies, the first thing which goes into the mind, oh, she's a teacher, she's going to teach me how to be perfect. And that is the perception behind this. So how do you break the ice? And isn't it a social mask at the end of the day?
100% no. I vehemently and I, with all my conviction, I'm going to say no, a big fat no. And I'll tell you why. The problem is that if today a certain person, let's just take an example of a client there's this client who is so intelligent, extremely thoughtful, great listener, brilliant analytical skills, but just because he believes he's an introvert, he believes that he needs to be the loudest person in the room to have great presence, this person always shrinks his body language. He sits like this. He sits like this. Because in his mind, he feels that I don't have the confidence to speak up like this extrovert sitting next to me, so I don't have presence, or I am a low on confidence person. That's not true, right? What I am now going to do here as an image consultant, I am not going to push him and say that, hey, you become like that extrovert person, you also start talking a lot. No. I will, in fact, rather than changing him, create alignment between how he is internally and how to portray that with conviction and authority on the outside.
Fair enough. No, but like as you rightly said that, especially in North India where the concept of herd mentality it goes out of bounds. So like, I know of a lot of people socially as well, just because certain people are loud, certain people are out there. Okay, let's talk about styling as well. Certain people wear certain brands out there. So my friends and colleagues and even people working with me say that, oh, just because I own a bloody Rolex, I think even I should own a Rolex. Or just because you speak loud and you gather people around you, I think I should speak loud. So how do you change that perception? And or do you actually dwell in, or do you actually, what do you do? I mean, as an image consultant.
Okay, Ariman, let me ask you.
Yeah.
What would you like more? You wearing brands to come across as a powerful person, or you becoming a brand powerful enough that people want to associate with you?
Of course, the latter.
Of course, the latter, right? All of these things, these brands, these luxury items are crutches that people use to make up for the things that they don't feel confident about. 100%. Just because you're wearing Gucci doesn't mean that, hey, you're the most powerful person in the room, right? If you've seen the movie English Medium, right? Irfan Khan. So when he dresses up to showcase that, hey, I am a person of influence and importance, He ends up wearing brand on brand on brand on brand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the school.
at the school. A lot of people, okay, stereotyping again in North India, do believe in the same. I see logos all written all over them. That's not what will make you stand out for
Agreed.
the right reasons in a room.
Agreed. But you also feel that, okay, now we are living in an imperfect world. So such forms of communication also play well with people. Like, talking about the receiving end now.
Yeah.
There are certain people who wear this because they think that people will receive them well. Talking about the receiving end, yes, 90% of the people are smart enough to know that this is just a tag. It's a social
Yeah.
tag at the end of the day. But then there are also certain people who respond well to certain, to such kind of people. So it's got two sides to a coin. So what do we do in that case?
So there's no harm in wearing brands,
Yeah, of course.
right? Please,
Yeah, of course.
please go ahead and
Yeah.
wear them if you like. I too love certain brands and I love them for the values that I see that they portray. In fact, a lot of my clients who are in the finance world, I do refer Ralph Lauren left, right and center. What I don't want is that brand to be certainly in your face enough for that to speak louder than you are
Fair enough.
in your presence, right? We don't want that to happen. So wear brands, make them, but wear them harmoniously.
Fair enough. Another thing which is going on in my mind is, if you're talking about people being so raw, which you're emphasizing a lot on,
Yeah.
okay, and art is also something which is, it's imperfect. Otherwise, it's not art. If it's perfect, it's just wall decor, is what people say. So, shouldn't the same apply to people's images?
In the sense?
Okay, I put this in a better way. So of course, you're tweaking one's personality to get the better of them in an authentic way. You're
Yeah.
not polishing them. I mean, you
Yeah.
are polishing them, but not perfecting them. So don't you think there are times when the rawness of someone should outshine more than something which you've taught them or they've learned from your sessions?
So I never teach them to be someone else.
Else.
For instance, if I see a person who is introverted, they
Okay.
feel shy, but they
Yeah.
are smart, and I want their smartness to show in their presence, I will not change the fact that they speak less. I won't ask them to speak more. What I would change is that what is their strength? Your strength is listening. Your strength is analytical skills. Your strength is decision making. If those are your strengths, hypothetically, let's say, then at least sit in the room and occupy space with your body language to showcase your confidence.
Confidence.
Don't then sit like this because you feel that because I'm not the
Unaccompanied.
loudest person in the room, I'll sit like this. Now, this is not rawness. Even if you want to wear slippers to your workplace, I would still find a pair of slippers that represent your brand, which might be leather, which might be a finer version of them, and consistently give them to you to make them part of your signatures.
So yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, rubber chappals also chappals at the end of the day can be very shabby.
Yeah.
But my question again is, I mean, what this is very subjective, no? Because what might be elegant to you might not be elegant to someone else.
I agree. So people do have different personal preferences, which I understand, very well understand. But if you come to me and I know that that is a fatal choice for your brand, considering the kind of person you are, the industry that you're working in, the role that you're in, then it is also my job to tell you as a consultant that this is not working for you. A lot of people at this point either agree or sometimes they even tell me that, okay, Meenal, can we find a middle path? For instance, if I want to wear a canvas strapped band on my hand while I'm wearing a suit,
Yeah.
please let me do that.
Yeah.
I want to do it. So then I will debate, then okay, then let's choose neutral colors in it. We'll find a middle path.
If one color goes south, does it actually change the entire narrative of the person?
Narrative of the person.
Yeah, of the personality, basically, of the persona.
So, for instance, if you choose one color that is against your personal coloring, if I talk about that, no.
Okay.
No. And this might come as a shock, but no. If styling is not as black and white, even if you choose one color that's not working for you, but you pair it well with other colors that work well for your skin tone, you make sure that that color is not the most dominant color visually in your appearance, you wear the right accessories, you wear the right layering pieces.
Why am I asking is because, why do people focus so much on fashion styling and attire is that because that's the first thing anyone notices and sees. So that is the first form of communication to anyone else as well. So I mean, someone like a Bowman Rani, say, who's wearing funky clothes and he's very out there, he would, be perceived to be very approachable. He would be a conversationalist, and these are certain
Yes.
judgments that people have and preconceived notions that people have that, oh, if he's dressed funky with a pink t-shirt and a cap and a what do you call those things, dog tags these days,
Yes.
with Air Force AJ1s, so he's very approachable, he's
Yeah.
very funky, he's very this. And whereas someone who's in a suit or very poised and this and that person's not approachable. So do you think fashion styling also, do you actually focus a lot on this while shaping a person?
Okay, so before I answer that, I'll complete that loose thread that color, even though that wrong color, you can make it work, but it takes a lot of effort to do that. You need to know a lot of right things about styling to be able to do that,
Fair enough.
right? Whereas if you choose the right colors, and I'm right now not talking about colors that represent the right things about you, your values, the colors that work for your skin tone, you automatically look more lively. Your skin looks brighter, your eyes sparkle more, and just the looks comes together in a beautiful way.
Fair enough.
And as you said, color is the first thing that people see, so it's a very important part of your first impression. So number one, that color needs to work for your skin tone. Second, yes, it needs to say the right things about you. For instance, if you're a very vibrant, lively person and I always see you in shades of blue, black and grey, you are not doing justice to your authentic personality. I want the world to see that. What instead I'll do is, if you're in a serious field, I might choose muted tones of brighter shades. Like I might choose, instead of a red, I might choose a burgundy.
Fair enough.
Instead of a yellow, I might choose a mustard. But I will give that to you.
Talking about this as well, again, controversial question. So, I mean, now we are living in. So, you and I fortunately belong to. We are millennials. We're now talking about Gen Zs and Gen Alpha, where fashion has become. It's a fad, and I think now people have taken a very different approach to it. And specifically, I think girls and women, of course, get targeted more because they have this thing that we have the right to wear anything we want.
Yeah.
They show their skin. Boys also do, but they don't get targeted as much as women do. So in that case, how do you change the perception? Because at the end of the day, their thinking is also not wrong. That they wear it because they feel a sense of comfort in anything and everything that they're wearing. But people perceive them to be in a very different genre altogether. How do you tackle such problems?
See, one thing that I truly applaud about this Gen Z audience is that they are extremely comfortable and confident in being their authentic selves. If you are confident sporting a certain color, being a certain way,
But I respectfully
disagree.
I disagree. I
Okay.
respectfully disagree.
One thing, honestly, because I have, so see, there are definitely a difference of opinions in the way that they communicate their needs, in the way that they take situations sometimes a bit lightly, and it's still a blanket statement. It might not apply to every person who's a part of this generation. However, that's the general notion. One thing that I really like about them is, yes, that they have way more boundaries, they have way more, they're more self-assured in a certain way than we were. We were still a generation that grew up learning that people pleasing is okay.
Yeah, because I think they're more self-assured. Why? Because I think we, as in our generation, never got validation from anyone and everyone. And over here, validation is no more a luxury.
Yeah.
Like, you want validation, you upload a bloody picture of yourself, 5 minutes down the line, you get 2,000 likes. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of validation I'm talking about, and this is something which they're comfortable with, which is very weird. I think, sorry guys, but it's very weird. I mean, this form of validation is truly absurd.
See, one place where I feel that we need to draw a line, even so, there is one client, only one client that I have, and that client was, he's also a next generation director, and he came to me because his father wanted him to be enrolled in this course. And the story was quite similar to a Wake Up Sid story. Like, he would show up as Ranbir Kapoor to the workplace, wearing sneakers, wearing t-shirt. And now what impact it was leaving was that people started questioning the father in the office that, hey, you want us to wear formal clothes, your son comes up wearing as if he's gotten out of the bed,
Yeah.
right? and not groomed also. Like hair is not in place, socks are not appropriate with the attire, the shoes are very, very sporty and again casual. There is a difference between being lazy or shabby and a difference between being intentional and polished. You can have a sporty personal style while being polished in portraying it. That is where I draw a line with this audience. And
Fair enough.
when we worked through it and when I showed him the difference between how he was perceived before and after, and that's why those forms also help. When people around him write that, hey, in your mind you think you're being perceived as a really cool person, they see you despite your great work. They are not seeing you as competent. They are still judging you as
Judging you as a
someone
disaster.
who's a laid back person,
Yeah.
not very interested, doesn't abide by the rules of the organization, doesn't follow the culture.
But Meenal, having said that, we're also living, because I'm a living example of this. You know, art industry per se was very poised, and it was perceived to be something only for the elite and very
Yeah.
polished and this and that. And then when I came into existence, and I'm very proud of this, I'm very cocky about this. When I came into existence, I changed the entire scenario, because I think, especially when you're in a certain industry environment, your clothes, your attire shouldn't speak for the thing or the work you're doing, and your work should. So at the end of the day, why are people coming to an art gallery? To see the artwork and
Yeah.
not me. So I started coming, because I also used to have the same fight with my parents. My parents used to be like, oh, you're not going to go to the gallery in sneakers and not shorts, but jeans and t-shirt. And I used to be like, no, this is the perception I want to get out there, because I want people who are communicating with me to know that, oh, we are talking to a fellow friend.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a suit and you're polished, this and that, people have this sense of fear that, oh,
Yes.
I might not be able to talk to this person because he's very polished.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm in my polo t-shirt and jeans, and if I'm wearing my loafers,
Yeah.
I think I am more approachable. So don't you think this trend has also changed over the years? Sorry, I've spoken a lot, but don't you think this trend has also changed over the years, where the dress sense and fashion has taken a 360, not a 180 turnaround?
Arvind, what you just described was the definition of power dressing,
Okay.
of intentional dressing. Wearing a suit, tie, blazer, pocket square is not the right way to dress, even for professional situations. The right way to dress is when you know how you want to be perceived and what do you want to accomplish.
Communicate.
Right? Now, in power dressing basically happens on a scale of authority and approachability. In that situation, you wanted to be seen as an approachable person by the client.
Yeah.
So you dressed down for the occasion, which was again intentional dressing. But you told me that you wore loafers. Rather than wearing a casual V-neck, you wore a polo neck. You still took care of the polish aspect of it. You dressed down in a polished manner.
Fair enough.
Right?
Okay, now I'm getting the
But
sense of it.
had you... So
Worn shorts or something of that sort, that would have been absurd.
that would have been, yes, and also understand that it also depends on the industry you're in. Art is a creative field. People want to see you as a person who looks creative and artsy enough also to be able to understand the
Again,
madness behind this.
people want to see a very polished version of you. And I've got this feedback from a lot of people when I go for these PR events as well. That how do you just come in a black t-shirt and jeans and this and that? I was like, yeah, because I want to be approachable. If I come wearing a suit, then there's not going to be a difference between you and me. Because
So at art events, now there you have to show your authority because you have to show how accomplished your gallery is. So
Yeah.
again, the perception changes.
you're
no?
not wrong, but yeah, I think again a very subjective, because I've always felt that showing authority also for me it does not have a lot to do with dressing. It
Yeah.
has a lot to do with the way I carry myself, the way my body language, my persona. I mean everyone's persona, but that is what I truly feel. But you're
Arvind,
not wrong.
tell me.
You're
Okay,
not
this
wrong.
time I'll ask you a question.
Yeah, please. This is fun, guys. Yeah.
Is it okay to judge a book by its cover?
No, never. That's
Never.
exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. So then, if there are hundreds of books out there, and okay, there might be reviews, but how do you pick out the book? How do you pick out the book that even entices you to open and read the summary of?
you're right. Always you see the cover. If it's a nice fancy orange colored cover,
That
you will.
gets your attention. They worked on the cover. But that doesn't mean that because of the cover, the book will
Book
become a
is nice,
bestseller.
yeah.
The metal isn't the content,
But
no?
the first step is
But the first step is that it gets you a foot in the door. If you look great, if you look put together enough for someone to believe, oh, if this person has made effort in looking like this person is a sincere person. This person also puts in the same effort in his or her work. That gets you a foot in the door because your first impression landed well. Rest of the story is definitely your
in
mind,
your
your words, the way that you carry yourself.
That's it. I mean,
But we are judging people all the time. Why are people changing the cover in movies?
though I think your entire business depends on judgment. I think that is what image consultancy is. It is.
And I'll tell you why. We as humans, we are judging people all the time because when you don't know anything about the other person, from our early ages, we've been wired to take in cues from the environment and reduce the uncertainty around us. How else do you know if this person is a friend or foe? Am I safe? Am I not safe? You do that by judging people.
Face value.
You do that all the time. Right?
Yeah.
So that is something that you're doing automatically. Now, do you want that judgment to be accidental or do you want it to be intentional? That's the part where I step in. I don't want it to be accidental for any of my clients. If people are going to be telling a story about you, they might as well say the right things about you.
But this is very informative, I think, and I think it's one of the most educative podcasts I've ever done. But talking about the society, we've been talking about the society. Do you think society, because these are certain intangibles, do they do this only for the aesthetic appeal? Just like, when people are buying art, they do it for the Instagrammable stories and
Yeah.
just to have a raza in the house. So I think, or do you think this is a need of the hour?
See, the world has become extremely cluttered. So I believe it is indispensable. It is definitely the need of the hour. Because you open LinkedIn, you open social media. Right now, you're flooded with content, right? How do you stand out? How do you stand out also by being authentically you?
True.
So this is a hand that's being offered to you that if you hold it, someone is here to unleash your true values. Then tell you that how will your clothes reflect these values. Then tell you carry yourself to show these values. Speak to your strengths. If this service is being offered, had someone offered me this service when
Yeah,
I was
I
maybe
was a
applying
man.
for a job, I think I would have done better.
When do you think that someone actually needs your services?
So
At what point? Like at what point do I come to you and say, "Oh, Meenal, I want you to help me"?
at any important juncture of your life, you need it.
Oh, yeah, we
But
spoke about this. Yeah.
But the stakes of it keep getting higher. For instance, if you didn't take this service in school, it is okay. You will still get through college. After college, if you take this service, it will help you in your job, but it is okay if you didn't take it. But now when you are a working professional, now if you don't take this service and you need it, you won't get promoted. Now the stakes are high. Now if you get promoted, the skills that got you promoted won't keep you there. Now you're a leader. Now if you don't take this service, then the impact is not just going to be on your success, it's going to be on the organization's success.
So it's a never-ending process.
But the ideal way to do this is to introduce soft skills, introduce grooming at a very nascent stage.
I was just gonna ask you, don't you think that because one of my first startups, I was working with this startup called Project Mint. Anyway, long story cut short, we came back to India and we decided that there are certain things which are not being taught in schools,
Yeah.
which are legitimate careers.
Correct.
For example, we were teaching kids sports management, ethical hacking, music production,
Yeah.
subjects like these. So I think in India, like I always say this, that the subject of civic sense
Yeah.
should be something which should be taught in schools.
Yes.
So don't you think that this is something, because this is grooming at the end of the day.
Yes.
So don't you think that this should be a subject in schools or colleges?
Schools have started making efforts. So I did in the initial part take certain sessions for different schools. I took it for my own school also, Carmel
okay.
Convent. And they have introduced it. But I do believe that when stakes are not very high, even students are casual about
casual
it.
about it.
That what is the consequence of not doing it? You're not being graded on it. So, but if they introduce a great evaluation system
Then
based
of
on
course.
this, then it will help you. Then it might be effective also. In colleges also, there's a one-day resume building interview skills workshop, but that is only to get you a job. What about your personality, your soft skills, your
That's what I'm saying.
image? When-
Grooming.
I believe all of these should be a part of your curriculum. There should be a subject on image management or personal branding that should teach you all of this. This is what's stopping. So Indian engineers, you know, right, that they have a very bad image in the
Yeah.
in the world about being great at what they do but not showing it very well. This is what will bridge that gap.
Engineers, computer.
Anyone who's not in a people-facing role.
people-facing
They will still be acing communication if this is taught at the right stage.
You work with Nestle, you work with SBI, you work with all the fancy. So, what is a common struggle you see between all those people? What is one thing which is actually a bane when it comes to all people working with all these people of a certain level?
Bane would be, so if a person has reached at this level, there is still a certain resistance to change, right?
Yeah.
So definitely you are breaking into, if needed, a lot of rigid belief systems of theirs. For instance, clothes is the last thing that they would be willing to change. They will not experiment
Especially
with it.
that generation, I think.
That, yes.
The senior.
And even if they're young leaders, they believe that we've reached here. Why do I need to change now? I'm already good at what I do. Let my work speak for itself. But as I said, there's a difference between being the best batsman and the best captain.
But you know, sorry to interrupt you. I think, you know, so this is a conversation I've had. One personal finding of mine is that, you know, life is actually taking a certain circle. You know, my grandfather always used to wear a white shirt and black pants and go to the office, and so would his friends. Then times changed, people started dressing well and started, you know, wearing fancy clothes. Now, if you see with Gen Alpha, take anyone, take Gen Z's, Mark Zuckerberg, these guys, all those fancy guys, they've also come back to the same cycle. They wear one black t-shirt, black trousers or jeans, and one simple, any form of shoes, and then they go to office. So this is also coming back to square one. So again, subjectivity, but we will continue with what you were saying.
So yes, as I was saying that with them, of course, with a senior leader, there is rigidity to change, especially in terms of appearance. Now, what I was telling you about was that it's exactly like the difference between being a great batsman and a great captain. So the skill that made you the best batsman was that you're great at what you do. And you're only performing for yourself, for your own records. You only have to take care of your performance. When you're a captain, you have to take care of the entire team. Now the leaders at SBI, Flipkart, all of these companies, that's the main thing that they struggle with. I have reached here with a certain skill set, but that skill set is not enough to sustain me here. So they need to invest in their image consulting.
Does your age factor also play a role? Like,
My age factor?
Yeah, because they always say, अच्छा आप क्या सिखाओगे, आप तो कल के बच्चे हो type.
Oh, you have touched a live wire with me over here.
A nerve.
A nerve, yes, you've touched a nerve over here, because my first few trainings, I remember it was at this company it's a very traditional PSU kind of a company.
No names, yeah.
No names. And when I entered the room, I was this 25,
Young,
26-year-old, petite, 5 feet 1 inch girl who entered this room filled with these male leaders of average age of between 50 to 55. And they looked at me and they gasped. This young girl is going to teach us how to talk and how to walk and how to carry ourselves. No way. Like, I could see smirks on their faces. What is she going to teach us?
But this is exactly what you're there to change. I mean, that is your goal.
Yes, and then when I started talking, the first thing I did was I listed out how I reached here, who I've worked with, but more importantly, when I started laying out startling facts that hit home with them, that, oh, yes, this what she said this is a thing that I do and it works against me. I started pulling them up that if you make this change, this is going to work for you. if you tomorrow don't wear this color or you wear this color, it's going to work for you. And I made them. I very confidently, I occupied space in the room. Okay, this is one trick I do.
Yeah.
Because so do you know how your body language shows confidence?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. The more space that you occupy, the more confident you look.
More control you have, yeah.
Yes, because it comes across as if this person feels confident enough to own all of this space. When I enter such rooms, I take a lap around the room.
Yeah.
I go to the next corner of the room, I switch on the AC or I shift the temperature, and then I call someone. I'll be like, fix that thing over there, fix this thing. Sir, could you please move your chair a bit over this way? So that they know she owns the room.
She is in control, yeah.
She's the person who's going to teach us. And when they see that kind of confidence, at least they straighten themselves up and listen. That's when then I start giving my gyan, what my subject matter expertise is. And then they warm up to me.
Fantastic. Fantastic. But yeah, I think psychology has a big role to play in this. I mean, the psyche of the other person. But Meenal, I mean, being a woman, now asking you something controversial, have you ever faced those struggles in your entire 8 years of, like, this is one of the struggles that you faced? Okay, अच्छा क्या सिखाएगी?
Yeah.
Second can be, अच्छा लड़की है. This is because we are living in a patriarchal society. लड़की मुझे सिखाएगी. This is the second statement which people give out there. How do you tackle those? Or if you've ever had certain, what's your worst incident you've faced?
Worst incident. So there was this one training that I was a part of, and there were 3 other trainers with me. This was
Okay.
early on in my career. And there was a seasoned male trainer of a different expertise who was also there. I faced a lot of prejudice coming in from the way that he spoke. Like, for instance, he thought that, number one, he didn't value what I was teaching. Number two, he thought that, oh, comes from a well-to-do family, is here teaching these superficial things, not important. And he started undermining that in his training examples. That really got to me. And to be honest, for the first time, I didn't know what to do, because he was such a senior trainer that I looked up to. That I didn't like that. Second, very hurtful experience that I had was, and I don't think it was related to me being a woman as much, but yes, it is also.
Why am I saying
no,
this?
It is.
Yeah.
Sorry, it is. I got a training contract from a leading company very early on in my career. In the first year of my career, I got a training contract, and that training was being done by someone who was very senior in the industry. And that contract was, it was not that I was getting her work, I was getting an alternate contract. And I remember hearing from the HR after she kept delaying signing the contract that, Meenal, are you getting married? I said, how is that relevant? No, I heard that you're getting married, and you know how women get very busy and you might not be able to devote as much time
Fantastic.
to the work once you get married. And I was blown.
This is coming from a fellow woman.
This is coming from a fellow woman who's heard this from a person who's very senior, who's also a woman in my industry. And there were also comments on, are you serious, you're going to get this short girl who's getting married to train these
Her height also, I think you must have gotten...
these room filled with senior leaders. What are you doing? The HR went into self-doubt. She came to me, she posed those questions, and I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, of course.
I was so flabbergasted that this was the second time my credibility or my ethic towards work was being questioned. And I remember requesting a meeting with the CEO of that company. I went, I sat down across him in the meeting, and I said, this is what I've heard. You tell me if it really makes a difference to your firm, because I know my intent. I'm going to walk away from this project. He apologized.
He did?
He did apologize. I got the contract. A year later, the senior consultant was fired for some misconduct in some place else. I got her contract also.
That's the thing, no? How do you change mindsets? You can change, how do you change the nature of, anyway.
I was working, and I'm not glorifying this, I was working 1 month after I got married. I was working 1 day before I gave birth. I love my work. I'm passionate about it. I'm not advocating everyone to do this, but that's who I am.
Yeah, I mean,
but
to each its own.
Have these preconceived judgments about a woman's life just because you feel she has an extra responsibility towards the house or towards her child.
Exactly my point. But yeah, you know, I think, yeah, this also, because it has two sides to a coin. See, what happens is a lot of people ask these questions in a very with a warm intention as well. Because what happens is, and I've understood this from my mentor, he said the reason why we ask women about this is because, understand, sperm X, sperm Y. Women give birth. It is a thing. Women go through menstruation. These are biological cycles which you can't stop. The only reason why we ask certain questions or we want to know about these certain things is so that we can plan ahead.
Yeah.
Not with a notion that, oh, just because she is going to go through this, oh, I'm going to, fire her or do this or do that. It is only such that we are also prepared that, oh, because her biological cycle is going to start from this date, so I should be well prepared for that. It is that. But yes, people have abused that power and people have misused that and, taken this to a different tangent altogether and been like, oh, just because you're going to get married, I'm not going to offer you a job as well for that matter. So this...
You become a high risk person for them.
It is. And this is a harsh reality. I don't think it's fair in a perfect world, but yeah, this is what happens. And I think...
But I'll tell you one last thing, Ariman. When I was pregnant, the way that women leaders, even my male clients, the way that they supported me, I was doing full day corporate trainings till my 6th month. And I remember participants coming to me and telling me that, okay, you've been standing for an hour. Now, ab baith jao. Ab aap baith ke bolo, hum sun rahe. We are listening. Please don't do this. There have been HR heads who have called one day before a session, one night before a session and said that I am not feeling well. I'm so sorry. Can we push this session to the second half of the day or day after tomorrow? Without even flinching, they've said yes. 100%.
But this also, see again, I'm saying, we live in an imperfect world. This is, I think, 70 or 80% of the society.
Yeah.
What stays in our mind is those, odd 5% or 7% of the people who are fuckers. I'm being honest. Because that's what, acha bhai, usne mujhe bol diya tha, so then we also start generalizing. So all men of a certain category are the same. So, and all women, for us, for all women, every...
Yeah, we watched Pyar Ka Panchnama and all women are the same.
All women are the same. So it's because of those 5% or 7% odd idiots we shape our mindsets as well. I think that's so true in boardrooms as well. If you want to, coming back to what you were saying, if you want control, you need to be out there. But I actually envy you when you talk about, you meeting up with the best and all the who's who. And yes, there has been a struggle and there is a struggle. I'm not trying to play the victim card with you, for you. But yes, women do go through certain setbacks which we men don't. But now coming to fun stuff. Meenal, what is, everyone wants to know, I want to know, what is the real you? Like you were talking about that you had a very different tonality also when you were not pursuing this. So what is the real you?
See, it's not like that this is not the real me, it's definitely the refined me.
Yeah.
Okay, but let me give you,
version
it's the refined me. If I had to bring out how I must be when I'm sitting with my best friend on a cup of coffee, you will only be hearing Bollywood dialogues.
Yeah.
You will be, at a party, you will be seeing me only dancing to Bollywood tunes. I'm a very, very playful person. In fact, I was known to pull people's legs too much in college. That's the kind of person I was.
Banter, full of banter.
Yes, banter, dramatic, out there, melodramatic.
Acha, okay.
Yes, a lot.
What is your guilty pleasure? I mean, you strive on Motichur Laddus we've spoken about.
Yes.
What else? What is your weakness? Guilty pleasure or your weakness?
My weakness is when I've had a very long day, a very tiring day. Today is going to be one of them, yes. I will go back,
Not
I
because
will
of me.
curl up in my bed, put on a nice movie and have a lot of fried late night snacks. And I love them. You see those chakris and namak pare and all of this. I would love to have them, and I have the weirdest combination, okay? So I will put
I'm not ready for this.
I will put Southwest dip alongside all of these fried snacks, and then I would dunk them inside and I will eat it, and my husband will be judging me and then turning and then going to sleep that I can't see someone eating this, and I will be watching my favorite movie or any guilty pleasure show, and I'll be doing that. That's what I love to do. That's how I unwind.
Southwest dip.
Southwest dip
I
with
can't
namak
digest it.
pare. I
But
love
yeah,
it.
it's so weird. I've heard people having jalebis with what? With not ice cream, with some other form of liquid. The other day, someone was telling me something they dipped jalebi in, and I was like, how can you possibly do that? What is this weird?
I always need some sauce or some liquid substance to eat with. Like even with a
Women.
wi-
This I said this on purpose, but yeah.
yeah.
But wow. But okay, tell me something you spoke about. Let's talk about your husband as well. Did you meet him through your image consulting?
No, no, no. I met him when I was in my first year of college. He was
Acha,
in
then
third
it's
year.
fine.
Yeah.
Acha. No, I was just trying to understand. Was it a refined version of you, or was it the old you?
Old you.
Everyone has a golden rule. What's a piece of advice you live by?
Piece of advice that I live by is that you come in this world for yourself.
I agree with that totally.
So prioritize yourself.
Totally.
Fill your own cup first. If you are not lit up from the inside, how will you light up anyone else's way?
पहले खुद का मास्क पहने फिर दूसरों को पहनाए. This is what we hear all the time. So yeah, this is true.
Save yourself first.
Save yourself first. This is like a rapid fire. 3 things that never leave your bag.
Apart from money and cards,
Of course.
lipstick,
Of course.
business cards,
Of course.
and mint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I'm one of the leading consultants in the world.
Wow, very good. What is one advice you would like to give to all the fellow business leaders out there?
Hire an image consultant.
Okay. What's one flaw you see? Of course, you have clients all over the world.
Yeah.
What is one flaw you see in the Indian ecosystem? When I'm talking about Indian ecosystem, no, one thing which we didn't talk about is that we're not specifically talking about North India because we
Yeah.
have. I'm also talking about South India. South India is
Yes,
they're poles apart, but still one flaw in the entire Indian ecosystem.
Indian ecosystem of business leaders.
Yes, of course.
I personally feel that um, one flaw that, since you mentioned South India, I do feel that North Indians have this flaw a bit as compared to South Indians, and that is that there's a certain know-it-all attitude when it comes to appearance management.
What we were talking about.
Yes, what you were talking about as compared to South Indians.
How do you deal with that? I mean, just intrigued.
So
Do you shut them up or do you just be like, no?
No, I just give them a few insights. I make them see their own pictures and tell them that, okay, now, what are the top 3 words that come to your mind when you see yourself? And I make a few other people who they trust also do the same activity. And when their first impression analysis comes out and it doesn't align with how they want to be seen, that's an eye-opener.
Have you turned any client down? Of course you have, but because of the behavior,
Yes.
they never changing behavior and something of that sort.
It's not just about never changing. I think this is one flaw, not with leaders, but I've seen that when a lot of people believe that when they are availing a service because they've paid for it, now they own the person.
I like how you brought that up, yeah.
And that really ticked me off with a client who would cancel sessions left, right, and center last minute, and I would bill those sessions, and he would get flabbergasted that, oh, this is not the way to go forward. I'm paying such a high fee for this, and how are you charging me? I cancelled only 2 hours before. I am trading my time for money. Please value that time, right? I understand you're busy, but we booked this session 2 weeks in advance. So value that at least.
No,
So
fair
definitely, after a point, I've turned down these clients, and I get to know from the initial conversation, I know how tough or how difficult a client is going to be.
How big is your team now?
My team has 5 members right now who are fixed, and then there are on-call trainers.
Yeah.
So
So therapists, as you said initially,
Yes.
I think that's a very good move by you. I think because that's what when people's personality gets involved in the picture. So I think therapists are a nice addition to that
Yes.
segment. Now we're going to come to our heartful moment, which is there because I think truly this has been a heartful conversation, and I think there's so much I've also learned out of this. So every career has that one heartful moment, the kind that stays with you forever. It can be emotional, it can be something related to work, it can be something financial as well. So, what's been your most heart-touching moment of your life or your career that made you stop and say, "This is why I do what I do"?
Okay, so one moment
Yeah.
was that
Yeah, of course.
when he
That
got
emotional motichur laddu.
laddus. There was another moment. So this was again in the initial part of my career wherein I was a pageant coach for contestants of a Mrs. India pageant,
Yeah.
right? And that pageant was all about empowering victims of domestic violence to find their self-worth. Now, a person who has been through such a turbulent time in their life, their self-image would be that I am worthless, I am not worthy of being seen, their self-esteem is shattered. One such participant I remember who enrolled, her voice would tremble when she would speak answers. She would always look down, she wouldn't make eye contact. And for this person now to stand up on stage and walk the ramp was a far-fetched dream.
Yeah.
But people around her really pushed her that yes, you have to do it. I remember working with her for weeks before the pageant, and the only thing I told her was, till the time you don't own your story on the stage, like you wear it like an armor, that yes, I've been through it, but now I claim my story. I will write my own story. All of this is not going to change. I remember after weeks of working on her body language, she became better day by day. But on the finale, she went there, she was asked a question, and she started the question by saying, I am strong, I am resilient, I am a powerful woman. And when she said that, imagine the self-image transformation someone has gone through in a period of 7 to 8 weeks. So much so that I could see the judges. There was one who stood up and clapped. The entire audience was clapping, and everyone, it seemed like, was a part of that win. They took it personally. That was one moment that made me go like, this is what I do, why I do. And another...
Wow.
There's one more moment that very distinctly came back to me. I was training these young girls who were a part of a government school college of women in Bahadurgarh.
Okay, wow.
And I was teaching them communication skills, and while they were learning from me, I remember one of them raised her hand and very innocently asked, मैम इतना कॉन्फिडेंट हो गए पर हमारी ऐसे सुनेगा कौन? हम ऐसे बोलेंगे पर कौन सुनेगा हमें? हमें नहीं ऐसे कोई
That's
सुनेगा.
actually a legit question, yeah. I mean,
And I looked at them in, like, it was pure innocence, but I was sad hearing that question, and I said, अच्छा बोल के तो देखो, let's give it a try. I remember after 3 months when that project was getting over, and this was a part of social work that I do make sure is a part of my portfolio. I'm giving back to the society. And I remember she came back after 3 months and she said, "Ma'am, आपको पता है मेरे दादाजी ने क्या बोला?" I said, "What?" She said, उन्होंने बोला कि हमारी पोती तो हीरो की तरह बोलने लग गई है. I till date, Ariman, I just, it fills my heart. I brim with happiness whenever I recall that moment. That
even I'm getting emotional. I think this, yeah, it's beautiful.
it was beautiful.
Truly innocent, beautiful.
When I'm having a sad day, I go back to my profile, I scroll down, I look at the testimonial. Because in that, all of these young girls are sitting in a classroom and they're saying the sweetest things about this transformation. And
I'm
it makes my day.
Name my title my podcast also. Hamari sunne ka kaun? It's actually it's a very powerful question.
Till date, I will. This is something I'm guilty of doing. I do have a soft spot for women clients. I will extend myself a little more.
No, as you should. I think
I do have a soft spot.
Everyone is allowed to be biased, man. At the end of the day, whoever thinks that biases are not fair, go to hell. I mean, because you know, at the end of the day, even in my work life, I mean, if we talk about work-life balance and this and that, I will always be biased towards something that I want. And what's wrong with that? So even if you're biased towards women when it comes to work, I don't think there's something wrong with that.
I think I am going to be very soon coming up with programs tailored to their needs.
Yeah. I mean, don't just have them play the victim card, but focus on them. And I think that would be lovely as well. I think that's fair. That's fair. So yeah,
God.
Meenal, what has
Yes.
been your worst mess up?
I think so I was one day, I still think of it and I can't believe that happened. So I was running late for a corporate training in the morning, and I remember I had to drive, I had to go to Gurgaon in the morning. Delhi to Gurgaon traffic is a nightmare, and I was rushing. I grabbed my bag, grabbed my lunch bag, and I sat in the car and I drove off. After I crossed halfway, I had crossed Dholako and I was entering Gurgaon. I just felt that I feel too comfortable today. I said, how am I feeling so comfortable today? And I realized I looked down at the footwear that I was wearing. I wasn't wearing my heels. I was wearing my bathroom slippers, and I had
Oh.
gone for a training while being dressed up in a suit from top to bottom.
In your bathroom slippers.
In my bathroom slippers, and I panicked. At 8 in the morning, I called up all my friends in Gurgaon. Do you have a pair
Who
of
has
formal wear? But the worst part is no one is a size
Size
4.
same, yeah, that's the thing. Same size.
They're all size 7, size 6. They said, even if we give it to you, how will you stand in an 8-hour training after wearing this? Fair point. No mall is open at this hour. I was freaking out. This company is never going to call me. I am going to. Then I'm thinking of, what do I do? Should I get a crepe bandage, put it on one foot and pretend to limp and be like, this is something that had happened in the morning. And then I just trusted God. I thought, let me go there. I'll figure something out. It was near Cyber Hub. Let me just figure something out. I went there. I was right outside the company and I saw this young petite girl.
Wow. Oh my
I
god.
went over there, and I can't tell you, Arman, I have never begged for anything in my life than the way that I begged her for her shoes. They were not the perfect, but they would have worked. And I said, can I please wear them and try them?
I can't believe this.
They fit perfectly well. She looked at me. I don't know what, I just begged her. Maybe I told her that I'm training at the company right
Yeah.
above yours. I will for sure give them to you by the end of the day. She said, what will I wear?
My bathroom slippers.
What will I wear? And then I looked down, she looked at me, and I don't know, God was with me or what happened, but she smiled and she said, okay. I still have a number saved. Her name's Tanishka. I still have her number saved, and I thanked my stars and I thank her for saving my day. Otherwise, I would have turned up for a training on power dressing in bathroom slippers. That was
No, but then you can also turn the heat around, no? That this is exactly what I'm
What
talking
you
about.
shouldn't be doing.
What you shouldn't be doing. So I mean, but yeah,
Yeah.
this is funny. Wow. I
Yeah.
wish I had such mess up. I actually don't wish I had such mess ups, but okay.
never.
Anyway, I've had like I've actually gone to for a PR event, a page 3 event in my shorts and in my t-shirts because I was at my friend's house and that time I had a manager, so he used to manage me this and that, and I was supposed to be at a really important Prayag Shukraji, all the who's who
Yeah.
of the art industry were there. And he's like, why the hell aren't you at the event? I was like, oh shit, I'm at my best friend's house, Avi's house. He's like, go there right now. So I thought, okay, there are only going to be 10-15 people left. And then I went, and there were about, say, 200, 300 odd people. And they saw me walking in with my AJs, in my shorts, and in my t-shirt. And I was the only guy who was dressed that way. But it's fine. I treated it as
A style statement.
style statement. People judged me. I might have messed up certain things over there, but it was worth it. It was funny. But anyway, but I think today's session has been the best educative session I've ever had in
Wow.
these 8 podcasts. I'm a young guy when I talk about podcasts. But yeah, Meenal, all I want to end on is that one thing you would want to change about yourself and one thing you would want to change about me. Please give me some feedback as well.
One thing that I would want to change about myself will be that, yes, I want everything to be perfect.
So you don't want to be a perfectionist. or
I
you-
don't want to be a perfectionist, and I'm not saying in the way that I work with people, because we've discussed that, but in the way that I work behind the scenes. So sometimes I underestimate the fact that I have worked for so long that intuitively I know a lot of things. However, before every session, I act as if yesterday I started my career and I have to work and I have to create those PPTs from scratch, customize everything. It's not needed. I can ace a session.
No, but I think it's a creative field what you are also in.
I I agree, but if I don't feel 100% perfect before a session, I have a tendency to then push them 2 days ahead, 1 day ahead, that I'll research more, I'll stay up the night before. And I don't think that, so I know that I'm not giving my 110%. For the client, it might, what I'm giving is still 100% effort, right? For them, it's still working.
This is exactly what I want to, it's a message to the world. 90% of the times we mess up because we think that we haven't given our 100% this and that, which is fair, we haven't.
Yeah.
But the world does not know that. So, at all our parties, at अच्छा मैंने ये नहीं किया, अच्छा मैंने वो नहीं, अच्छा business dinner पे ये नहीं किया, अरे उनको क्या पता कि आपने क्या किया या क्या नहीं किया. So I think this is a habit you need to change. With
Yes,
your-
yes, I'm on it. My team pushes me to change it.
Yeah. AKA Ashima.
Yes.
What is one thing that you would want to change about me, Meenal?
Okay, so I'll be brutally
Bluntly
honest.
honest.
Brutally honest.
Yeah, like we were being
Yes,
honest. Yeah.
throughout the show. You are a person who I know is a fast thinker, right? Which is why a lot of times when we were talking, I could see that you were.
Sorry.
Yes, I could see your feet shaking like this a lot of times. Now, that can be perceived as someone who's being restless, as someone who's being fidgety. It can be a credibility killer, and it might also sometimes signal that you want me to get done quick with my answer.
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
But I also know for a fact that's not the case, because you were fully angled towards me, your feet were pointing towards me, you had an open body language, you made eye contact. So I know that's not truly the reason. So it's this one habit. It's a habit and an unconscious one. So if you work on it, I think
will.
this would be one thing that we need
See,
to
ever
get rid
since you
of.
said that, my foot has not moved. This is a good start.
You know, the first step of change is awareness. A lot of times we're not only aware of what we're doing wrong. Once you become aware, that's the biggest step that you've taken.
I mean, a better terminology to that is what I feel is a good start to change is acceptance.
Yes.
We are aware. Everyone is aware. You are aware. I am aware. But it's just that we haven't accepted the fact, and we don't want to change that fact. So once you have acceptance, then I think anything and everything can be changed.
So Ariman has accepted it?
Yeah. I'm just looking at my foot only ever since then now. I think I'm
Good
gonna-
job.
No, but these are fair points, and
Yeah.
yes, I am a restless person. It happens unintentionally, of course, but there are certain things which I need to change as a podcaster as well.
Yes.
Because do I need to change anything as a podcaster?
So to come across
Oh,
also as a great
yes.
listener, I think this is a part of it. Because as a podcaster, you need to be genuinely invested in the other person's questions, which you brilliantly aced at. Right?
Thanks.
I don't think I saw you opening your cue cards at all.
Yeah, because again, coming back to what we were talking about, it's a conversation.
Yes.
My cue cards are only supposed to give me a direction, but I think we've had such unfiltered conversation that I didn't even need these.
Which I'm so glad about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also very glad that this happened, and it was truly, I mean, I can't even thank you enough. It's been a hell of a podcast, and thank you, Meenal. And I will definitely get in touch with you for my image.
I am so
Consultancy
glad.
services.
I am so glad that you enjoyed this conversation. I had a great time being here and talking to you. And of course, feel free to reach out anytime. I'll be
Anytime.
the first person.
No, I will definitely drop by and come down to your office and take some sessions.
Yes, and
And
I'll
I wanna
cash in
thank
my
your team.
payments with paintings.
Yes, oh, barter, done.
Barter deal
Done. This is guys, this is the best business we have had at a podcast. But I
Yes.
say this all the time, guys. Take paintings and give me your services. It's easy
Yeah.
for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for coming to my art gallery. I hope you loved it, and I would truly looking forward to working with you soon and meeting you soon again. And thank you to your team as well, Ashima. Shout out to you. And yeah, guys, that is going to be the ending to my episode. It was a banger of an episode, and I think you're going to get so educated after this episode. So do watch it and do follow Meenal, because for such tips she posts regularly on Instagram and other social media platforms. So yeah, guys, thank you, and thank you, Meenal, once again. I
I'm so
really
glad.
appreciate it.
I'm so glad that we had such a good time. Thank you.
Thanks, Meenal.